Hello students, good morning. Today we will study a poem by John Donne, Go and Catch a Falling Star. As you know, John Donne was a great metaphysical poet. The age which comes after Elizabethan age. John Donne was a poet. His poetry is considered as a metaphysical poetry, and another thing, he was a greatest love poet. His love poetry is metaphysical. Meta means beyond physical. Beyond that the existing world. He includes such kind of images in his poetry that are far-fetched images. They are conceits. Such kind of images that a man cannot think. So go and catch a falling star is just one of his best example of his metaphysical poetry. So as the poem, as we see, the poem is one of his most famous poems. Okay, so let's see what makes this poem so famous. Go and catch a falling star. Go and catch a falling star. Get with child a mandrake root. Tell me where all past years are, or who claimed the devil's fruit. Teach me to hear mermaids singing, or to keep off envy's stinging, and find what wine serve to advance an honest mind. Now look at the images. These, these images are called metaphysical images. Go and catch a falling star. He says, poet says, go and catch a falling star. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. Because we cannot catch a falling star. So he says, go and catch a falling star, a far-fetched images and exaggeration. Get with child a mandrake root. There is a plant, mandrake plant, and its root is just like human shape. And whenever you will touch it, it weaves out just like a human baby. But as we know, it is not possible to get a baby, get a child from mandrake root. So again, there is a far-fetched image, get with child a mandrake root. Tell me where all past years are. Is it possible to tell anyone where has gone the past time, where has gone all the years are? No, this is also not possible. Or who cleft the devil's foot? Can anybody tell who cleft? Cleft means to cut out devil's foot. Who cut the devil's foot? Nobody can tell that who cut that. Teach me to hear mermaids singing. Mermaids, mermaids are half woman, half fish. Mythological characters these are, and it is said they live in deep seas. And whenever a ship passes by, they attract or elude those mariners by their singing, by their sweet singing. So, and nobody has seen these mermaids. These are only mythological characters. Okay, so who can teach mermaids singing? Teach me to hear mermaids singing. So it's not possible for everyone to listen that music, to listen that singing of mermaids, because they doesn't exist. Nobody know either they exist or they don't exist. These are mythological creatures. So this is also an impossible task. Or next task, to keep off enemies stinging. Is it possible to every person that he keeps himself out from envy? No, that is also not possible. And find what minds are to an advanced and honest mind. And find out what behavior advances a man to become an honest person. So every line has given us a far-fetched image, a metaphysical image. to catch a falling star, to find a child from Mendek group, to tell where the past years are, to find out who clapped devil's feet, to hear mermaid singing, and to keep up envy stinging, and to tell what equality makes a man honest. These seven images are given seven impossible tasks. Mean these metaphysical images are not possible in our day-to-day life. Mean these all tasks which are given here all are impossible tasks for an ordinary human being. As the poem will progress, I will tell you why he is saying so. In the next line, we will come to conclusion that as these all things are not possible, it is not possible to catch a falling star, it is not possible to get a child from a Mendek root, it is not possible to tell where the past years are, it is not possible to find out who clapped devil's fruit, and it is not possible to teach hear mermaid singing, and it is not possible to tell what makes a man honest and what makes a man dishonest. So, as all these things are not possible, it is not possible to find a woman who is both fair and faithful. Of course, the poem is very strange for women folk, but as he says, as these things are not possible, it is not possible in this world to find a woman both fair and faithful. Now see the next stanza. If thou being born to strange sights, things invisible to see, ride 10,000 day and nights, till age snow white hair on thee, thou, when thou returns, will tell me all strange wonders that befall thee, and swear nowhere lives a woman true and fair. Now it is quite clear to you. And in this sentence, if thou behest born to strange sights, things invisible to see, if you behest born to strange sights, uh, if you have been to strange sights, things invisible to see, and you can see the things even those are invisible. Okay, you have gone to those sites which to such a kind of places which are not easy to reach. If you have visited there, if you have seen the things which are invisible to see, right, 10,000 day and night, you have visited continuously, making your journey 10,000 day and night without stopping, till age snow white hair on the, till all of your hair become completely white. Then thou mean you, the when you return will tell me, and when after wandering such a lot of places for such a lot of time, and when you will return from your journey, you will tell me, you will tell the poet all strange wonders that befall thee, all the strange wonder of the world that you have been witnessed, that you have seen, and swear, and then with an oath, with you swear that nowhere lives a woman true and fair. Even after roaming all these places, you will swear, you can see by your firm affirmation that you have not find a woman who is both fair and beautiful. So he said that if you have traveled whole of the world throughout of your life, from you have wandered throughout the world, you will not find a woman who is both fair and faithful. Now see the next and last part. If thou findest one, now he comes to the reversal. But in the first two stanzas, he has said, he has told us all the impossible tasks. And what did he say? that it is impossible to find. You will swear that nowhere lives a woman true and fair. But in the last stanza, he reverses his idea. And what he said? If thou findest one, let me know. And if by your journey you have find one woman who is both fair and faithful, let me know. Please tell. Such a pilgrimage were sweet, yet do not. I would not go. Though at next door we might meet, though she were true when you meet her, and last till you write your letter, yet she will be false. Before I come to two or three. Now he said, if thou findest one, if by your hard labor you find such a woman who is beautiful and faithful, let me know. Please tell me. Such a pilgrimage was sweet. I will make a visit to him, to her, and consider it as a pilgrimage. Yet do not, I would not. I know that to meet such a woman who is both faith and beautiful, faithful and beautiful, to visit such a woman will be just like a pilgrimage, just like a religious travel. But I would not go. But I would not go, though at next door we might meet. Even if she is living in my neighbor, even if she is on the next door, living on the next door of my house, I will not go to meet her. Why? Though she were true when you meet her. He is saying that she may be true when you meet her. And last, till you write your letter. And she may be faithful till you write a letter. Yet she will be false. Even though she will become false before I come to meet her to two or three, she will be will have either two or three lover till the time I will reach to her. So the poem is very against against women folk, and of course it was very criticized. So what is the essence of the poem? The poet wants to say that it is impossible to meet a woman who is both beautiful and faithful. I think you have got the idea of metaphysical poetry and this poem. So thank you.